compound events. Finding or probabilities, we find the probabilities and add them together. Finding and probabilities, we find the probabilities and multiply them together. So let's go ahead and look at the example. So example 1, measles is an infectious viral disease that has the probability of causing the following symptoms. Right, so we have 10 out of 10 patients will have a red rash, and so we can go on and read all of these. But let's jump to actually part A. So what they're asking is, right, what is the probability that a patient will have a red rash and diarrhea? So let's go ahead and look for those probabilities. Well, the red rash, 10 out of 10 patients will have a red rash. So let's go ahead and write 10 out of 10, right? That's the probability. For diarrhea, we're seeing 5 out of 10 patients. And let's look. We have an and probability. So if we have an and probability, right, on a compound event, we're going to go ahead and multiply these two probabilities together. So we got 10 over 10 times 5 over 10. So when we multiply the top, and then we multiply what's on the bottom together, right? So we have 10 times 5, so that's 50. And then 10 times 10, well, that's 100. And then 50 out of 100 can be reduced to 1/2. So the probability is, right, 1/2 that they'll have a red rash and diarrhea. Now, what's the probability that a patient will have photophobia or seizures? So notice we have an or probability, so that means we're going to add these together. So when we look at the photophobia, we see that it's 6 out of 10. And then seizures is going to be 1 out of 10. Right, we just go ahead and look, right, and this is 1 out of 10. Now we go ahead and add these together. And when we add, we only add what's on the top, right, the numerators together, so that's 7. And we just leave the denominator, and that's 10, and that's reduced, so that's our solution. Now, what is the probability that a patient will have a red rash or diarrhea? So this is revisiting the first one, right, part A, but this one's an or probability. So we have the same probability, except we're going to go ahead and add these together instead of multiplying them. So we just go ahead and add what's on the top. That's 15. We leave, right, the denominator, so that's 10. So what is this really telling us? It means that the patient will definitely either have a red rash or diarrhea, right? Like there's no escaping that. So that's what this probability means, right? Which we can also just reduce to 3 over 2. Now, what's the probability that a patient will have a partial hearing loss and conjunctivitis? Now, so hearing loss is 1 out of 10. So that's 1. And we go up and we see 10 out of 10. And so, for hearing loss, 1 out of 10 times 10 over 10. Well, 1 times 10, because we just multiply what's on the top. That's 10. 10 times 10 is we multiply just what's on the bottom together. That's 100. So that's 1/10. And that would be our solution.